When you book an Airbnb, you trust that you are the only one with the key. But are you? My girlfriend Sarah and I decided to take a weekend trip to Seattle last October. We wanted to save some money, so instead of a hotel, we booked a private apartment on a popular rental app. The listing looked amazing. Modern furniture, a great view of the skyline, and surprisingly cheap for the location. It had hundreds of 5-star reviews, so we didn't think twice. We arrived late on a Friday night. The entry was keyless. The host messaged us a code for the smart lock. We got in, dropped our bags, and were impressed. The place looked exactly like the photos, maybe even better. The only thing that felt slightly off was the layout of the bedroom. It was large, but one entire wall was dominated by a massive floor-to-ceiling mirror. It faced directly toward the bed. Kinda creepy, Sarah joked, checking her reflection. But at least the lighting is good. We went out for dinner and came back around 11 p.m. We were exhausted, so we crashed immediately. I'm a light sleeper, usually waking up at the slightest noise. Around 3 a.m. I woke up. I didn't know why at first. The room was dead silent, but I had this overwhelming primal feeling of being watched. I lay there in the dark, staring at that huge mirror. The streetlights outside filtered through the blinds, casting just enough light to see our reflection in the glass. I rolled over, trying to shake the feeling, but then I heard it. A faint click, like a camera shutter. I sat up. Hello? Silence. Sarah stirred beside me. What is it? She mumbled. I got out of bed and walked up to the mirror. I remembered reading somewhere about the fingernail test. I placed my fingernail against the glass. There was no gap between my finger and its reflection. It was a two-way mirror. My heart hammered in my chest. I grabbed my phone flashlight and pressed it against the glass, shielding the sides with my hands to block the glare. Through the glass, I saw a small, cramped room on the other side. There was a single chair positioned directly facing the mirror. On a small table next to it was a laptop, its screen glowing dimly, and a half-eaten sandwich. Someone had been sitting there, watching us sleep. I screamed at Sarah to get dressed. We grabbed our stuff and ran out of the apartment in under 2 minutes. We called the police from the car. When they investigated, they found a hidden door in the hallway closet that led to the observation room. The laptop was gone, but the chair was still warm. The host turned out to be a fake profile using a stolen identity. To this day, I don't know who was behind that glass, but the thought that they have footage of us sleeping still makes me sick. I've always been an introvert, so for my vacation, I booked a secluded cabin in the Smoky Mountains. The listing emphasized total privacy and self-check-in, which was exactly what I wanted. No human interaction, just me and nature. I pulled up the long gravel driveway around 4 p.m. As I was getting my bags out of the trunk, a beat-up truck pulled up behind me. A man in his 40s hopped out. He was wearing flannel and dirty jeans, looking like a local. "Hey there, you must be the guest for the weekend," he said with a wide, friendly smile. I was taken aback. Yeah, hi. I'm Dave, the property manager. Just wanted to stop by and make sure the keypad is working. The owner, Mrs. Higgins, is out of town." He seemed harmless enough. He even helped me carry a cooler onto the porch. He punched in the code on the door. He knew it by heart and let me in. He showed me where the thermostat was, how to work the fireplace, and then gave me a wave. "All right, enjoy your stay. I live just down the road if you need anything." I settled in, made some dinner, and read a book. Around 8 p.m., I got a notification from the rental app. It was a message from the host, Mrs. Higgins. "Hi, I hope you made it in safely. Just a reminder, the property is fully automated and I manage it remotely from Florida. Nobody should be on the premises. Let me know if you have issues. I froze, remotely from Florida. I replied immediately, thanks. I met your manager, Dave, earlier. He was very helpful. The 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. I don't have a manager, and I definitely don't know a Dave. Did you let him inside? Panic set in. I realized Dave knew the door code. He knew I was alone. He knew the layout of the house. I ran to the front door to engage the deadbolt, but as I reached for it, the handle turned. The keypad beeped. The mechanism unlocked. I threw my weight against the door just as it started to open. Dave was on the other side, pushing. He wasn't smiling anymore. He didn't say a word, just grunted as he shoved against the wood. I managed to slide the manual chain lock and the deadbolt, screaming that I had a gun and the police were on the way. The pushing stopped. Through the peephole, I saw him standing on the porch, staring at the door for a solid minute. Then he turned, walked calmly to his truck, and drove off. I spent the night locked in the bathroom with a knife until the sheriff arrived. It turned out Dave was a former tenant who had been evicted months ago, but evidently kept the code. This happened last winter. My friends and I rented a large Victorian-style house for a ski trip in Vermont. It was huge, old, and drafty with creaky floorboards and a lot of character. The host left a binder on the kitchen counter with house rules. Wi-Fi password, how to use the hot tub, trash day, etc. But there was one rule written in bold red ink at the bottom of the first page. Do not open the floor hatch in the laundry room. It is unsafe. Naturally, curiosity got the best of us. We went to the laundry room to check it out. Under a rug, there was a heavy wooden trapdoor with a massive padlock on it. It looked secure, so we joked about ghosts and forgot about it. The first 2 nights were fine. On the 3rd night, everyone went to bed early after a long day of skiing. I stayed up in the living room watching TV. The laundry room was right next to the living room, separated by a thin door. Around 1 a.m., over the sound of the TV, I heard a noise. It was a rhythmic thump, 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 coming from the laundry room. It sounded like someone walking on wood, but heavier. I muted the TV. The house was silent. Then I heard the sound of metal clinking, like a chain rattling. "Guys?" I called out, thinking one of my friends was messing with me. No answer. I stood up and walked to the laundry room door. I put my ear against it. I could hear heavy, ragged breathing on the other side. Not the breathing of someone playing a prank, but the wet, wheezing breath of someone sick or angry. I backed away and grabbed a heavy fire poker from the fireplace. I flung the door open and flipped the light switch. The room was empty, but the rug was pushed aside. The trap door was wide open. The heavy padlock was lying on the floor. It hadn't been cut. It had been unlocked. A cold draft was blowing up from the black hole in the floor. I didn't wait to see what climbed out of there. I woke everyone up, screaming that there was someone in the house. We barricaded ourselves in the master bedroom and called 911. When the police arrived, they searched the basement. It was a dirt floor cellar, mostly empty, but in the corner they found a makeshift bed, piles of rotting food, and photos. Photos of us taken from the cracks in the floorboards over the last 3 days. The padlock key was found on the makeshift bed. Whoever was down there had a key to the lock. They could have come up at any time, but they chose to wait until the last night to open the hatch.